نحمده ونستعينه. Honorable Commandant, Brigadier Hassan Sahib, faculty members, cadets, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me enormous pleasure to meet you this evening and share with you very briefly in some of the introductory remarks on how I look on the topic Prophet, peace be upon him, as a role model. Before I talk about Prophet as a role model, it might be appropriate to find out for ourselves when we call someone as role model, what do we mean by it? Usually, when we take any individual as role model, we have certain criteria in our mind. First and foremost, we always take that person as superior, higher, and perhaps as perfect. That's why you want to imitate and emulate that person's model. Therefore, a model to be imitated must carry in itself aspects of perfection. You must have seen many of the youth when they find a very good cricketer, a very good sportsman, they develop this image as their hero. They would not only like to play in the manner he plays, but even they would like to dress in the manner the person dresses. They would like to trim their hair resembling the person. Therefore, when we talk about role model, then first and foremost we think about a model that carries some kind of perfection or excellence for us. Secondly, when we talk about a role model, we refer to its existence and presence. It's only when you see someone around, it's only when you feel someone is in front of you that you can discover, is that person relevant for you, good for you, bad for you, should you imitate him or forget about him? If the person has no historic presence, if the person is only in your imagination, a fictitious person, then you cannot take such a personality as role model. Therefore, a person to be role model should not be mythical, should not be just a matter of your imagination. It should be a historic personality. Thirdly, when we talk about role model, the model must carry a relevance for you. If you are living in 21st century and the model is confined to 2nd century before Sayyidina Isa, or is confined to 5th century or 4th century, the way the person has lived, the way the person has thought and responded to various issues is limited to that century. This cannot be a role model for you. Therefore, relevance of that model is extremely important. Next, the model must have a practical application for you. If model is beautiful, but at a distance, if model is such that you can never follow and imitate the model, it is useless for you. You can praise, you can salute, you can appreciate it, but you cannot follow it. Further, when we say role model, we look for comprehensiveness of the model. Does it provide relevance for only one kind of persons? Does it provide relevance to only those who are electricians, engineers, medical doctors? Or does it have a relevance in terms of comprehensiveness? When model is comprehensive, it can be comprehended and at the same time translated by many people. But if the model is confined to a very narrow area and does not have comprehensiveness, may have a special application for people. It will not have a role model character. Lastly, when we talk about a role model, we also try to find out, does this model provide simply a blueprint, just some theoretical information, or this model also provides you with a living example, an example which has lived throughout the period of time. When we evaluate a role model based on this criteria, it's only then we try to accept it, adapt it, and appreciate it. Unfortunately, in many situations, we don't use a rational approach. Unfortunately, in many situations, we are not looking for analysis of what we are doing. And therefore, when you find someone known as Michael Jackson singing in a particular manner, specializing in a pop kind of music, you get impressed by his singing. You take him as role model. You forget, maximum the person can provide a role model for those who are keen for a kind of pop music. But that cannot provide a model for people who think, people who act, and people who behave ethically and morally. Music may be one area, but ethical conduct and behavior is something different. A person who may be very good in music cannot be good in thought, cannot be good in administration, cannot be good in character and conduct. Consequently, you find many of those who are taken by people emotionally as role models, when we analyze their character, we find out they may appear beautiful, but their character is horrible. They may speak very well, but they act very bad. In other words, unless you take a rational approach, unless you analyze and try to find out how good a person is on the given criteria, it is not possible for us to accept or not to accept that individual as role model. With this preface, I would like in the next few minutes to share with you how I look on the life example of Prophet ﷺ, who we take as role model. To begin with, first of all, I would like you to liberate yourselves for a few minutes from the feeling, from the internalized character we have as Muslims, that we always look toward our Prophet ﷺ as someone who is at a distance from us, as someone who is glorified to the extent of just praising him, appreciating him, but never thinking that his model would be relevant for a common man. Before Islam came to the history of mankind, there were people who lived in Asia and Africa and Europe, and they had their heroes. Many of their heroes were mythical, and even those who took some of the messengers of Allah as their heroes, when they did not believe in mythology, they at least believed in divinity. Therefore, you find the best example in front of us is that of Christians. Christianity as a religion is spread in many parts of the world. But Christians took Sayyidina Isa ﷺ as their role model in terms of divine revelation. For them, Sayyidina Isa was the revelation of their God. Therefore, they called him Son of God. Therefore, they called him God itself. They were not illogical people. They were very rational people. They wanted to rationalize, they wanted to satisfy themselves, their urge to glorify their prophet by placing him at the highest level human mind can think. And that was to mix him with divinity and call him one out of the three components of their divine understanding. This glorification brought to them a serious problem. If Sayyidina Isa is divine, if Sayyidina Isa is part of Godhood, if he is part of the Trinity in which God, Holy Ghost, and so-called Son of God are three parts, then how could a common Christian become divine? Unless you become divine, you cannot follow it. A divine model is relevant for those who are divine. A divine model cannot be relevant for those who are human beings. Christianity, in its existence of about 2,000 years, has not been able to resolve this issue till now. Islam resolved it. Therefore, the Quran came and said, in the example of the Prophet, ﷺ, we have for you the best model. The Quran is truth. The Quran is clear. The Quran is evident. The Quran cannot tell us that Prophet is model for you, an uswa for you, an example for you, and yet what he did, yet what he said, yet the way he lived is at a distance from us. It's our own thinking which creates this distance and not what the Quran and Prophet has said. I'll like to share with you briefly on this point with the help of some references from the Quran. To begin with, first and foremost, the Quran wants to clarify for ourselves how we should look on the Prophet. Therefore, in Surah Al-Ahzab, the Quran in very simple words tells us that you should look toward the Prophet as model, not just like other human beings, but take him as the source, take him as the guide, take him as the illustration of how a perfect human being should live. How should you have your personality? How should you laugh with your friends? How should you be serious with your studies? How should you deal with your neighbors? How should you treat your colleagues and friends and your elders? All these aspects are to be understood from the example and modality of the person. Therefore, the Quran calls him Sirajam Munira. It says, O Prophet, truly we have sent thee as a witness, a bearer of glad tidings and a warner, and as one who invites to Allah's praise by his deed, and as a lamp is spreading light. Sirajam Munira. This is the most beautiful attribute, name used for the Prophet. That you spread light, you spread knowledge, you provide people how to live a meaningful life. You show them how a perfect human being has to be very humble and kind and loving. Therefore, the Quran uses a strange terminology for him. It says, you are Rahim. If you look in the Quran, you will find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used for himself Ar-Rahim. You begin everything with Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This word appears many times in the Quran. But the Quran also says, Prophet, you are Rahim. Because the image, the personality of the Prophet, the Quran wanted to be understood as a person who is extremely kind, compassionate, loving, and not a person who is frowning, is stubborn, who is not concerned about problems of others. Therefore, the Quran projects Rasulullah not only as light and guide, not only as model and uswa, but also a person who carries in his character and conduct extreme kindness, politeness, availability to people to help. The Quran further tells us that Rasulullah is rahmah for the whole of humanity. He cannot be rahmah for the whole of humanity if his modality is confined and not complete. Prophet can only be rahmah for the humanity. He can only be model for them if he is the last message of Allah. If he is the last messenger of Allah. If he brings the Quran as ultimate wisdom. If there is no Quran after the book, if there is no rahmah after him, only then he is complete. If there are further additions of personalities coming after the final messenger, then he cannot be a complete model. Modality means that you have a perfect model. Modality means that in him you have found someone who tells you how to behave in different situations. And if the model is complete, you don't need any fresh additions. You don't need others to come and tell, well, one aspect was left incomplete, now I come and complete that model. It is against the Quran, against reason, against intelligence. If this Quran is final word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it says that you are rahmatul lil alameen, if it says you are uswatul hasana, you are the best model, then no other individual can ever come and say, well, there were some aspects still left, blurred, not clear, not shining, not visible, and therefore I have come to remove that dust to make the model more shining. So the Quran, if you know it, if the Quran, we read carefully, tells us very clearly that this model is not only rahmah, but also complete model. And being complete model, it will provide guidance and modality for humanity, not only for Muslims, but for the whole of humanity till the end of this world. That's what's the meaning of Rahmatul lil Alameen. That's what's the meaning of this day. We have completed deen for you, and we have selected Islam for you as your deen, and you are the seal of messengers. Being seal of messenger means you are the perfect model. Here is what you want to find out in a perfect human being. Here is how should you discover human responses in historic context. So when we talk about modality, when we talk about ideal model, then we need to look into the Quran and learn from the Quran what's the meaning of role model. The Quran further tells us in Surah Al-Imran, ayah number 164, Allah did confer a great favor on the believers when He sent among them a messenger from among themselves, rehearsing unto them the signs of Allah, purifying them and instructing them in the scripture and wisdom, while before that they had been in manifest error. In the Arabic, the words are eye-opener. It says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لقد من الله على المؤمنين إذا بعث فيهم رسولا من أنفسهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل في ضلال مبين. Here the Quran has given 4 important dimensions of a role model. It says, it's Allah's favor, Allah's blessing that He has sent this Prophet from among the believers. The Prophet is not an outsider. It's not an unknown ideal. It's not an unknown model. He's not a stranger. He is from the people themselves. And when he comes from them, he provides them first and foremost with something which the Quran says, yuzakkihim, that he comes and tells them how to purify. That he comes and recites to them the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That he comes and provides them with the book and with the wisdom. These four things provide him with enormous gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make him a relevant model for us. How do we purify ourselves? Should we go to the so-called spiritualists and ask them, please tell us, how can I be a good human being? If I go to a spiritualist, he will tell me, you can purify yourself, but for that, you have to sacrifice your worldly existence. And therefore, whether it is Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, or any other religion, you go and ask them, how to purify myself? And they say, leave this world and go to a forest. Leave this world and mortify yourself. Don't eat, don't drink, don't sleep, don't marry, don't live a family life. Just go and live in a forest and you will purify yourself. The Quran says we have sent the Prophet to purify you, yuzakkihim. It is his job, responsibility, mission to tell you how to develop spirituality, how to purify. If Prophet has left Makkah and Medina and has been living in forest, you can do it. If Prophet has left his family and has become a hermit, has become a so-called mystic, then no problem, you can go and do it. If Prophet has told you, never eat and drink and stand on one leg for 35 years, go ahead and do it. But if he has not said all these things and has told you how to purify, then accept him and take him as role model and don't look for others. Don't ask others how to improve my spirituality. The Quran in this ayah also tells us that he provides you with an understanding of the ayat, the statements of the Quran. He tells you what is right and what is wrong. He tells you how you can apply these ayat in your everyday life. And for that, he provides you a modality in the form of his own example. When someone asks Sayyida Aisha, tell us about the conduct and akhlaq and behavior of the Prophet, her simple answer was, haven't you read the Quran? He was the walking Quran. And therefore, when we want to find out meaning of the ayah of the Quran, we shall have to go and find out from his everyday example and behavior, what was he doing in order to illustrate that Quranic message. So the Quran says here that in Prophet we have placed for you an example where he explains to you what is the meaning of Quranic ayah. Further, he tells you what is hikmah, what is wisdom, what is beauty, what is lesson, how you are going to build a new century, how you are going to create a new order in this world, how you are going to build a human society based on justice, love, equality, and understanding. All these aspects are to be discovered in his personality and conduct, and we cannot go outside and say, we will take discipline from Abraham Lincoln, we'll take constitutionalism from Augustine, we will take beauty from the Romans and Greeks, and we will also learn how to pray from the Prophet. that is a contradiction of thinking. The Quran tells us if you want to learn standards of beauty, balance, justice, love, if you want to understand what's the meaning of peace and constitutionalism, if you want to understand how to treat your enemies, if you want to understand how to love your neighbors, then you don't have to go to others. But in one single personality, the model has been provided. All you have to do is, you have to get rid of your approach of glorification and look for the approach of simplification. Islam is simple. Islam is not complex. Quran is a message straightforward. It has no complexity. Prophet's modality is simple and direct for all those who claim to be his followers. It's we who out of our own imagination have created these barriers. That's why the Quran in many places talks about how relevant he is for us. And as I said a while ago, in Surah Al-Ahzab, it says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. You have indeed, in the Messenger of Allah, an excellent exemplar. None could be excellent example unless a common man can easily follow that example. The beauty of the seerah is that while you hear about heroes, and those heroes have usually an aspect of character which many people think they can never imitate. The beauty of the seerah is it provides you a complete model which a common human being can easily imitate. You cannot become Michelangelo in painting because he had a special gift to paint. You cannot become Leonardo in scientific discoveries who came up with sketches of human body and tried to explain to us scientific development. Because a person excels in one area and not everyone can excel in that area. But excellence of the Prophet lies in the secret that whatever he did, the Quran claims, can be easily imitated by a common Muslim male and female. If anyone wants to pray in the manner the Prophet prayed, if anyone wants to meet his friends in the manner the Prophet met his friends, then it is within our reach. That's why the hadith tells us, alayhi wassalam, when he was with his associates, ashab and friends, he will talk to them like a normal person. If a stranger came, it will be difficult for the stranger to distinguish who is the hero and who are the worshippers of the hero. All of them will be similar to him. There was no extra reverence except the way they followed him. There was no podium for him. There was no red carpet for him. There was no elevated place for him. He will sit with his companions like a common person. The reason was he wanted a common man to imitate him. When the king sits at the podium, when the king wears gloves not to even touch hands of others, when the king walks on red carpet not to touch even floor, how a common man can follow a king? Only a king can follow a king. But here you find the king of hearts. Here you find the biggest personality world can ever think of. And every single action of this personality can proliferate, can filter down, can reach the heart of the common man. The way he smiled, the way he walked, the way he slept, the way he was addressing his family members, the way he was meeting enemy in battlefield, all those have been preserved as historic phenomena, not in books, but in the lifestyle of the Muslim Ummah. In the conduct and behavior which has continuously been communicated to us by way of a continuity and not by way of an encyclopedia in which you have to go and find out how we behave in certain situations. That's why the Quran declares very clearly that in Him has been put the modality for you, in Him we have put for you the best kind of ethical and sublime moral conduct. It's because of that perfection, because of that human modality, because of that extremely human character of the Prophet, that the Quran comes forward and tells us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His malaik send their blessings and salam on this perspective. Therefore, the Quran says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ. No other person has reached that level of humanity where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His malaik would like to pray and bless and send their salam on their human. Not only that, but the Quran continues and tells us, you as believers have an obligation to pray for him and send your salat and salam on him. Consequently, it's part of our culture and adab, it's part of our akhlaq, that whenever the name of the Prophet is said, we always say, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The reason is very simple. Here is the human being elevated to the level of modality. And since he is perfect model, since he provides us how a common man can live in this world, the common man must feel thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and should pray to Allah and say, Oh Allah, please bless your Prophet. When you say salat and salam on the Prophet, all you are doing is you are requesting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him. It's a request. It's a pleading. It's a desire that whatever He has provided us is so complete, so enormous, that we cannot but thank Him and thank you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for providing us with this best modality. The Quran tells us that this model is not guided by the desire that people praise him. This model is not guided by the self-desire that he should be appreciated as perfect man. This model even never wished and desired to be a prophet. Prophethood was bestowed on him. He was selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lead mankind out of darkness into light. Therefore, the Quran tells us that whatever the Prophet tells you is not based on his own thinking, is not based on his own desire, is not based on his own process of understanding. But whatever he says and declares is essentially guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, coming in the form of Quran or in the form of his own statements. Therefore, in Surah An-Najm, the Quran tells us, وَيَنْزَبُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Nor does he say of his own desire is no less than inspiration, revelation sent out to him. Therefore, whatever the Prophet is saying in the form of hadith or sunnah, or whatever he is delivering in the form of Quran, both are revelation, wahi, sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have to be taken seriously without any differentiation. We cannot differentiate between the Quran and its exemplification. We cannot differentiate between what is instruction of Allah and what is the instruction of the Prophet. Therefore, the Quran in a number of places has said very clearly, these people keep on asking how Allah has sent a human being as prophet, and yet He wants us to follow Him. The beauty of Islam is, Islam wanted the Prophet to be a perfect human model and yet to be followed. Therefore, the Quran, Surah Al-Nahl says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِمْ فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And before thee, we sent none but humans to whom we granted revelation. If you realize this not, ask of those who possess the message. In Surah Al-Kahf, the Quran said very clearly, قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ يُوحَى إِلَيَّ إِنَّمَا إِلَٰهُكُمْ إِلَٰهٌ وَاحِدٌ. Say, I am but a man like yourselves. The revelation has come to me that your God is one Allah. Not one, but there are many verses in the Quran which tell us very clearly that this human dimension of perfection is what makes this model adaptable, adoptable, and imitatable. The Quran tells us that if this model is perfect, then you cannot have any reservations about following it. Therefore, in other places, the Quran declares you should take from the Prophet whatever he gives you. If you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you must obey the Prophet. If you believe in Allah, then you cannot differentiate between what the Prophet has decided and commanded and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran. If the Prophet has judged among you, then you cannot challenge his judgment. You have to take it with all confidence and surety. When the Quran talks about this phenomena, it wants us to understand that a model cannot be taken with reservations. We cannot say, Prophet, you are a very good model, but your modality is for 7th century common era. You are a model for a Bedouin society. You are a model for a pre-industrial age. You are a model for a pre-computer age. Now we have computers, now we have technological advancement, now we have so much development, and whatever you did was perhaps in an age when people were living in small towns, in villages, in forests, in deserts. Now the world has changed, therefore you cannot be any more relevant for us. When we say Prophet is perfect model, what we mean is his modality has that flexibility, that application which is relevant for not only 7th century but the most advanced technological age. Taking Prophet as role model means that you should not leave him to be followed and imitated when you go to masjid. When you go to masjid, you try to remind yourselves you are servants of Allah. You are not servants of your self-desire. So you make a very nice wudu. You take a clean dress. You enter the masjid with humbleness. You bow down. You prostrate. You keep your hands binded. You keep your eyes down. you put your head on the floor, and by all your gestures and statements, you keep on saying, Allah, you are great. Prophet, whatever you did for us, we pray for you. But when we come out of masjid, do we carry Prophet with us? Do we carry Allah with us? Or when we are out of masjid, we say, money, you are our God. Power, you are our God. Reputation, you are our God. Family interest, you are our God. Culture, you are our God. Economic prosperity, you are our God. When we call Prophet as model, it means don't take him as role model simply in the masjid. Don't take him role model on 12th of Rabiul Awwal or 11th of Rabiul Awwal and then close him down as a chapter for rest of the 36 days of the year. And again open the chapter and say, Prophet, we love you and we praise you. We sing songs in your praise. Taking him role model means that whether you are in 21st century or you are in 30th century, you need to take him seriously and understand that he has a message for the common man. And unless common man imitates and receives that message, Prophet is not relevant for him. Relevance of prophethood means that you are able to understand, grasp, catch that glimpse which Prophet has provided for all of us, whether they are men or women, they are youth or old people, they are officers of armed services or businessmen. Whatever is their profession, the Prophet provides a total, comprehensive, relevant, vibrant, dynamic, a relevant personality, and that has to be discovered when we liberate ourselves from those glories and curtains we have put between ourselves and the personality of the Prophet. I believe role model and its relevance is extremely important for persons like you. Those who want to be educated cannot be educated by books, but only by human beings. That's why you find books were never sent by United Parcel by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but books were sent with messages. Whenever Allah sent a message, whether it was for the Israelites or people before them or for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a messenger. And the Quran has used for him the word يُعَلِّمُهُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ, that the messenger is muallim, is teacher. The muallim is a role model. Your teachers are role model for you. It is they who expose you to either seriousness in life or meaningless in life. When we take Prophet as our teacher, when we take him as role model, then we need to come around him, interact with him and ask him, examine him, try to find out from very, very close quarter how he behaves and responds. And all that is within your reach. You have the Quran with you, you have the books of Seerah with you, you have books of Hadith with you, and you have a continuous tradition of people who have lived according to the Sunnah. With all these sources, you need to discover for yourselves what is the purpose of your education. Do you want to graduate with half the personality or with full the personality? If you want full personality, then there is only one model that tells you how to behave in business as well as in masjid, how to behave in battlefield, how to behave in a court of justice, how to love children, and how to interact with people in society. There's only one personality that provides to this totality. All others may carry relevance in specified areas. When you are here in this educational institution, keeping in front of you a bright future, trying to climb the ladder of knowledge and understanding, it's extremely important for you to find out how among your teachers and among yourselves there are some hidden models which may be very closer, which may be resembling to the model which is ideal for us. If you don't find those models around, then it's your obligation to become a model which can be guide for others. Because the example of Prophet ﷺ is not something which has to be simply praised, but to be imitated and emulated. This is very briefly the message of the Quran. This is very briefly the message of the Sunnah. This is very briefly what it means to understand Al-Islam as a role model. That a simple, a vibrant, a dynamic and complete model is there for you to imitate. It only needs a small effort, one step forward, and then this model comes to you 10 steps forward. I'm using a phraseology which has been used in the Quran, in Hadith Qudsi, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have no different modality in a human form with human personality than the Prophet. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells his servants, when you come one step toward me, I come 10 steps towards you. Same will be when you want to imitate and emulate the word of Prophet and want to reach him out and understand him by moving one inch toward him. His personality, glowing with light and knowledge, will enter our hearts, will provide us inspiration with much faster speed and with closing the distance between us and him. Therefore, my young friends, it is a serious question for you to think. If you are serious about role model in the Prophet, then you have to explore and take him as your companion. Take him as your dream. Take him as your ideal and make him a reality. A reality in the form of observing and translating all those aspects which he has provided us in the form of a historic personality. He is neither mythical nor imaginative personality. He lived in the full light of history. He has provided all those aspects of life for which we look for guidance. And therefore, it's only for us to approach him, to imitate him, and to become successful people in this world. Success in this world is only for those who come forward, search for it, and grasp it. If we don't grasp this personality, if we don't try to imitate it, then we will be staying at a distance, and distance also always brings loss to you. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your success and for your success in this struggle and striving to find out truth from this modality, to translate that truth in your individual lives, in your family lives, in your society, and particularly in this homeland, which we acquired in the name of establishment of Islam, establishment of the Quranic and Sunnah hukum in this country, establishment of that model behavior and conduct which is the ideal given to us in the form of personality of the final messenger. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the soul of Al-Islam and all those who follow him, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the right path. Thank you very much. I'm available for any questions you may have or observations. I love to have very frank and critical questions. Don't think whatever I have said is to be accepted without questioning. Every statement we make is subject to correction, and I'll be more than glad if some of you are here to correct whatever I have said. Just feel free and come up with your questions.
So in the garb of being in global village and living in knowledge society, this culture is playing havoc in our lives. We are being strayed from the right path. Now how can we save our lives from this trap? Whereas the attraction is there and we are being attracted towards that trap.
If I follow the question correctly, what you are saying is we live in a world where there are attractions, and we as human beings quite often get misled by it. Therefore, how can we avoid it? First of all, the question assumes that Islam has come for a society of angels. Islam has come for a society of pious people. Islam has come for a community of humanity which will never know what is evil, what is murder, what is theft. I think that assumption is wrong. Islam has come for common human beings who will be often very much attracted towards theft, indiscipline, murder, immorality. Therefore, Islam is essentially a matter of how to discipline your life and live with a moral conscience. If Islam came for people who were already good and pure, there was no need for Islam at all. If you have angels around who never do any theft, who are always kind and polite and loving, why should the Prophet come and teach them how to love? Now, Islam wants every believer to discover it consciously, rationally, and willfully. Islam wants every believer to ask questions before doing anything. Whatever I am going to do, is it right or wrong? Therefore, two very interesting words appear in the Quran in many places. One is ma'roof, other is munkar. Similarly, a term halal and haram. These two terms of ma'roof and halal literally mean, ma'roof means what is good what is right, what is virtuous, what is befitting. Halal means what is justified, what is right and permissible. The Quran talks about these two terms repeatedly and tells us that Prophet has come to tell you how you should use your judgment to decide whether something is good or bad. When we have a dish antenna in our home and kids want to watch program, then they should be told, ask yourself a question. Do you want to watch something which is bad or you want to watch something which is good? If kids are honest, if kids are fair, then their conscience must tell them we should not watch something which is bad and watch something which is good. Yet, when parents are not there, perhaps they will think, well, they are away for a few hours. How about if we watch something bad for a very short while? And before parents come, we'll switch over to watch something good. Nothing wrong with that. Islamically, Allah has given them freedom of the will. They can decide for doing something wrong or something good. But after they do it, if they are again honest and fair, and when their parents re-enter their home and ask them, kids, was everything okay? When they will say, yes, everything was okay, you go and try to touch their palms or their forehead and you will find they are perspiring. Human, natural. It is common with Muslims, with Jews, with Hindus, with Christians, at least everyone. Therefore, Islam is a matter of that conscience, which tells you, I should not do it even when parents are not here. Islam is that value, the value of Tawheed, that I must serve only one who is seeing me when my parents are not here. And if I have not served him, then I must feel sorry and I should not feel lost. And when I feel sorry, then I must repent and say, Allah, please forgive me. Parents don't know what I have done, but you know. Therefore, you forgive me. I will never do it again. So you come back again to that conscience, that sensor within. And that sensor is what Islam calls Iman. Quran says this Iman is in your heart. This Iman is in your eyes and in your ears. This Iman is in your hand. Iman should tell you what should I touch and what I should not touch. Iman should tell you what should I hear and what I should not hear. So Islam is essentially a matter of this conscience, inner self, that keeps on telling us, don't do it, it is haram. Do it, it is halal. This is good for you, this is bad for you. I think if we understand that approach very clearly, Islam becomes very, very simple. Someone asked the Prophet ﷺ, how should I get a very good opinion? The Arabic term is, how should I get a fatwa? You know this term very well. Even the junior ones who are fresh in this institution should know about the meaning of fatwa. Fatwa means when you ask a scholar his opinion on a specific issue. The answer was, your heart is your mufti. He did not say, go to the one who had the biggest turban and ask him. All he said was, you just ask your heart, and your heart will tell you what is right and what is wrong. I have come across many situations when a person who is a non-Muslim, and yet this person, when he is doing something wrong, feels very bad about it. confesses it, feels disturbed and perturbed, till he goes in front of people and tells them, sorry, I did something wrong, please excuse me, pardon me. When a non-Muslim can do it, why a Muslim will hesitate? Therefore, I'm not worried at all about attractions around. Attractions are meant for that. Do you think the fellow known as Shaitan is a stupid person? No, he must be very clever and cunning, very intelligent, very educated, perhaps carrying 10 PhDs in how to see people. And therefore he should go around and change his masks and come up with all kinds of attractions. Should we submit to him? Should we serve him? Should we say, well, if you want us to be trapped, we are here to be trapped? Islam tells us, don't be trapped by your own self, by shaitan, by temptations, but act like a human being. Therefore, what I have tried to convey earlier too is that Islam is for human beings. Islam is not for angels who are immune, who will never do error. If Islam was for angels, then an angel will be sent to us as prophet. If Islam is for human beings, a human must come and show us the perfect model and should show us how we can imitate that in our own lives.
Thank you. So my question is sir. So you have told in your lecture that in Islam one should not believe the word, and living in the word he should purify his spirit. What if sir, we see the life of Prophet? So we see that before the prophethood, he went to Iraq or got worship. So we will take this in which aspects?
Very intelligent question. Thank you very much. Take a seat. You know, you are in this college. You are going through a process of education. When you graduate and you join practical life, either you take commission, you go to a civil job or anywhere else. The moment you have graduated, we call you a graduate of this college. And from that moment, we call you a person who is carrying a BSc, a BA, an intermediate, and therefore you are called a Bachelor of Science or Arts or Commerce or whatever it is. That day, alayhi wassalam received first revelation. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. He was commissioned as messenger. The day he became prophet, from that moment, if he smiled in a manner, then we must smile in that manner. So that's what the Quran says. We have example in the model of Rasul for you. The moment he becomes Rasul, that moment is historic for us. It is there and then. Whatever he is doing is to be imitated. Indeed, before he became prophet, he did go to a cave, and his practice was that he will take with him some food material. He will stay there for perhaps a few days or a week, and when the food was consumed, he will come back. But why did he go there? Did he go to the cave in order to discover prophethood? To become a spiritualist? Or he went there to cut himself from that society where he found idolatry, shirk. And in order to pray to one and only Allah, he had to be away from that idolatrous society. But when he did it, and when he went to the cave, what was the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Did Allah tell him, you have been doing something very good and therefore keep on doing it? Or the moment first revelation was sent to him, Allah told him, oh you who are wrapped, get down to people, live with them, die with them, stay with them, and show them how a human being should live in society. If cave was the model, the Prophet, once he achieved prophethood, must tell us, when you want to purify yourselves, leave Medina and go to the cave and stay there. If a single incident is recorded in history about any companion, do we have a single command of the Prophet that if you want to purify yourselves, go to the cave and go to the forest, or he wants people to purify themselves in society? I think there is a big confusion in the minds of some people that Prophet was looking for prophet. The Quran tells us prophethood cannot be achieved with effort. It is something given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why Allah selects people. Someone who is after it can never be a prophet. The Quran tells us, when revelation comes to him, he is frightened, he is confused. Is it shaitan coming to me or Allah's angel coming to me? He asks his wife, I have a strange experience and I am afraid. Perhaps these are some satanic visions. What was her answer? She tells him, you have behaved in a supreme manner. You have been so kind to people, to orphans, to needy, to your relatives. Your Rabb, your Allah can never leave you for shaitan to act on. He was not seeking spirituality. He was not seeking mystical experience. He was just keeping himself away from that culture, which was culture of idol worship. And therefore, throughout his career as prophet, we have no single evidence that he will appreciate people who want to leave society. Let me tell you a very interesting hadith. Once he came to know that one of his companions had decided that he will never sleep all night and just stay awake all night and pray. A second one had decided he will never marry in his life and will stay a bachelor. A third one had decided that to achieve spirituality and become a perfect person, he is never going to leave fasting and will keep on fasting, have continuous rosa. If you and myself were there, and someone comes and tells you, in our village, a person has decided not to marry and he will stay under a tree in forest all his life. If a person has decided to pray a whole night in a masjid or in a secluded place in forest, or if a person decided to fast continuously, what will be our opinion about that person? We will say he is an Allah wala, he is a wali Allah, he is a buzurg, he is a Sufi Sahib, he is a great man. Do you know what Prophet said? He summoned them. And he said, I am Prophet of Allah. I fear Allah more than you. And some nights I am awake, some nights I take rest. Sometimes I am having voluntary fast, sometimes I am not fasting. And I do marry, and nikah is my sunnah, and who disowns it is not from me. An-nikahu sunnati, faman raghiba an sunnati falaysa minni, not from us. In presence of these so simple and clear statements, how can we think that leaving this world, not marrying, not sleeping, not eating, killing your body by continuous fast, never sleeping whole night and just praying and praying, and never marrying can make me a wali Allah and a buzurg? How can we think when Prophet has said in very clear terms? And by the way, any one of you who will attend a wedding in your lifetime, you will hear this hadith without understanding. Whenever a Muslim or a Muslimah is married, whoever is reciting nikah khutbah, recites this hadith and tells and reminds people what you are going to do is not something worldly, but this is sunnah of the Prophet. You are completing your iman and faith. You are not doing something unholy. It may be unholy in some religions. Some religions may think that to marry and live a married life is something worldly. Therefore they say, if you live in a forest like a monk, if you go and become a rishi, if you are becoming a seer and living in forest, you are a great man. Islam does not believe in that. Prophet's example is our model, and therefore what he did in his pre-prophetic period does not become a model for us. What becomes model for us is the day he was prophet. And no one stopped him as prophet to tell us, do as I did before I became prophet. He never said it. No one stopped him from telling his companions, if you want to purify yourselves, follow my pre-prophetic example. He never told them either. And if for some reason he forgot, companions were intelligent people. They should have asked him, sir, we want to purify ourselves. Do you mind if we go to caves and purify ourselves? They never asked him. I think companions had more important things to do than going to forests, than going to caves. They had a task to change the world, to change human beings, to act like perfect human beings. This task was more important for them than to visit some caves and forests and leave the society for shaitan. Islam is a message which wants us to change this society and not to leave it at the mercy of shaitan, and we go and take refuge in forests and caves. That is cowardice. Islam is religion of brave people. Those who face realities, those who change the world, those who fight evil, those who stand in the midst of business, in the hub of materiality, and yet they deny materiality authority. They fight materiality with a complete model where you have material life, spiritual life, economic life, political life, as well as heavy life.
Sir, so would you please like to clarify my doubt about a matter of great concern? So in the present era, we have got a lot many contradictions about various aspects of the life of Holy Prophet. Sir, these are contradictions based upon the sectarian beliefs. My question is, what should be our approach towards these contradictions, and what should we do if we have a doubt about a certain religious matter?
Thank you very much. If I understand your question correctly, you are talking about the existing conflicts and strife and struggle we have within our own community in the name of sectarianism. Sectarianism does not exist in the Quran, in the Sunnah, the live example of companions. It does exist in local cultures. And therefore, when people come from various local cultures and they are unable to free themselves, liberate themselves from their background, they accommodate all those cultural traditions as a cultural baggage with their Islamic existence. For example, you find some of the Jewish people became Muslims, some Persians became Muslims, some people from Iraq and Mesopotamia became Muslims, and we have evidence that a number of companions traveled as far as China and Central Asia. And definitely when they went there, they spread Islam and those people became Muslims. They had their own traditions. Many of those people were worshipping souls, idols, self-desires and whatnot. Many of them had their views about spiritual people as superior to others. When they became Muslims, some of those content continued with them, and that led to cultural impact over them. Secondly, Islam invited its followers to look into Quran and Sunnah and the life of companions critically, analyze it, and come up with individual interpretations. For example, the Quran, not in one but many places, uses a statement which can be interpreted differently. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, the Quran says, when you want to stand for prayer, then wipe with your head. وَامْسَحُوا بِرَؤُوسِكُمْ. In simple Arabic language, this وَامْسَحُوا بِرَؤُوسِكُمْ, wipe or do masa with your hair or head, can be interpreted as complete head or part. Therefore, the Quran itself provided a room for interpretation. When someone interpreted it as total head or all hair, then he practiced it in the same manner. Someone else interpreted it as part and did not wipe over complete head but part. That led to differences. Later on, many more interpretations came, and those led to many differences. The purpose of Quran and Sunnah was to accept and tolerate those differences and legitimate so long as they had a basis in Quran, Hadith, or in the example of companions. If it was other than that, it should be rejected. Unfortunately, in our own country, we have not taken that very clearly. We have taken our elders as our criteria and not the Quran and Sunnah and the Sahaba as our criteria. If we take them as criteria, we can minimize these differences to a few And with those differences, we can live with dignity and respect. You find from companions' examples, they disagree, yet they love each other. In our country, for example, you find in everyday newspapers and incidents, some people came to a masjid, came to a school, came to a marketplace and killed someone. And then you find news flashed in our media, a small sectarian fight and struggle. I am sure all of you read newspapers. It's not a secret. Why is it so? The reason is that we have not been able to inculcate a spirit of tolerance and respect for differences in our people. We try to carry them away through emotions and not through reason. Islam is reasoning out and not emotionalism. If we develop the approach of rational analysis in our educational methodology, in our way of life, I am sure within your generation, if not within my generation, we can have people who will differ and disagree, yet they will love each other. You know very well, when Usman ibn Affan was ordered